All right, hey guys, so today we're gonna be walking through the 10 questions on ALEKS for Module 8.3. So we're just gonna jump right in and go ahead and get started. So number one, we have -8 in parentheses raised to the 0 power. And I said this on, I think it was 8.2, that anything raised to the 0 power is just gonna equal 1. So -8 raised to the 0 power is just gonna equal 1. But this one's a little bit different. So we have negative, and then we have parentheses 1/7 raised to the 0 power. So this negative is gonna stay here. But then the 1/7 raised to 0 is gonna be 1. So then we still have to keep this negative in mind, and we're gonna multiply the negative by 1, and that's just gonna be -1. So we have our two answers for this. So -8 raised to the 0 power is gonna be 1. -1 divided by 7 raised to the 0 power is going to be -1. Okay, so now we're going to move on to number 2. And we have 6 raised to the -2. And ALEKS asked us to rewrite the following without an exponent. So, when something is raised to a negative power, it means it needs to be on the opposite denominator, numerator, whichever, of the one it's on. So this one is on the numerator, so it needs to go in the denominator. So we're going to have 1 divided by 6/2. So then it asks us to write it without an exponent. So we just need to square 6. So that's going to give us 1/36. Okay, and then number 3, we're going to rewrite the expression without using a negative exponent. So over here we have an x to the -4, and that -4 is with the x, it's not with the 3, so don't get messed up. Right here the -2 is with the 6, but right here the -4 is with the x. So we want to make sure that we're writing this without any negative exponents. So this is in the denominator, so we need to move it up to the numerator to make it positive. So we're only going to move the x raised to the 4th power. We're going to leave the 3 on the bottom because there's not a negative exponent with that 3. Okay, so we can move on to number 4. And this one's going to be simplify your answer as much as possible, writing it again without using a negative exponent. So again, the negative exponent is with the x, not with the number. So we're going to leave the 6 where it's at. And then x to the -2, we need to move that to the denominator so we can get a positive exponent. So we're going to have 6 divided by x squared. Okay, now we're going to move on to number 5. Okay, so we have 8 raised to the -5th power times 8 raised to the -3rd power. So you can do this like we did in 8.1, where you go ahead and add them, but if I'm correct, yeah, it wants us to use a single positive exponent. So I'm going to go ahead and move these below the denominator. So we're going to have 8 -5 times 8 -3. Oh, just kidding, because I'm putting it in the denominator. So it's going to be 8 +5 times 8 3. And so then, if you remember from 8.1, when you have two numbers being multiplied, you add the exponents. So we're going to have 1/8, 5 plus 3, and that's going to equal 1/8 raised to the 8th power.